and then we will take questions. Favor to everybody, please remember to use the raise hand feature. And if you are not one of our Duke regulars, please also state your affiliation when you're asking your question. And Coach, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for hopping on. Just a quick, brief statement. We're honored to be selected for the Gator Bowl. It is a great setting to be in Jacksonville for the new year. A great opponent, and then a great opportunity for our program. It's a just reward for the season that we had, and when you win a bunch of games, you end up playing somebody else who also won a bunch of games, and so it's a great matchup we'll be excited for, and I think our players will be extremely excited to go play. And so with that, we'll open up with questions.
Steve, you want to go first for us?
I will. Manny, first, what's your schedule like for practices and things like that? I know you're out of town right now, obviously, but when are you guys going to reconvene and get going with practices?
Really, next weekend. We've got exams, coming up through the course of the next week. We'll give a chance to have a real good week of practice after we get done with finals. We'll be able, because of the date of the bowl, we'll be able to let our guys go home for Christmas, which is a great thing, and then we'll reconvene and head down to Jacksonville and continue our prep down there.
Connor, go ahead.
Hey, Manny, I know you're probably so early on in the process here, but what do you know about Ole Miss so far? Were you able to, in prepping for Wake, did their game against Ole Miss ever come up in the film review?
A little bit. Ironic is, when I was at Penn State last year, we were going to play Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl, and of course, got a phone call from a 919 number that ruined all that. Certainly have a lot of respect for Lane Kiffin and what he does, but the matchup that jumps off the board, I'm not sure it's going to be great on a poster. Is come for the great weather and the great setting, and stay for the tackle for loss. They create. We're 1 and 2 in the country in TFLs, and what they've done from a number standpoint, we kind of track it historically through this scheme. They've done a thing this year that has not been done in recent times. So a lot of respect for what they do in all 3 phases.
And then as a follow-up and just kind of a clerical thing, with the transfer portal opening today, I know last year Duke let guys that were in the portal play in the bowl game in Birmingham. Is that going to be the case again, or is it still too early to sort that out?
Yeah, it's a little too early for all that.
Adam, go ahead.
Yes, Connor kind of stole my question on the guys sitting out. I know Lane Kiffin is pretty active on Twitter, and he's kind of talked about the ACC and the manner in which the college football playoff committee selected teams. What conversations have you had with Coach Kiffin since the pairings have been announced? What's your history with him, kind of going back in your coaching career?
I haven't had much conversation. No, in the last, since the announcement, but no, we've been connected. I would say a little bit through the years, but not too much more than that. So I'm again excited to get down there and to see him.
Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, since you guys are the 2 leaders in TFLs, I have to ask, is their defense, are they accumulating them similar to the way you guys accumulate them as far as the way it all plays out, or is it totally different? What do you think about what they do defensively and how, as far as the TFLs?
I have to watch, we haven't really got into the looking under the hood yet on the film. They've got some outstanding personnel up front, and then they have an aggressive style about them. They just play very fast. They're very well coached, and usually when you do that, you're going to have great disruptive results.
Right.
Pat, go ahead.
Maybe I wanted to see if you could just take me back to this time last year, what you remember about kind of, just being on board at Duke and
the work has
being
started.
At the bowl
you
game.
Can see the paving has started right now, and the rain is not going to further delay this particular project. But that's not the only issue on Falls of News as we get back here into the.
What is going on?
Thank
Sorry,
you.
go ahead.
Whoever just read that, Pat, can you please repeat?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what that was. Manny, could you just take me back to where you were last year, your mindset and some of the things that stand out, around this time when you first signed on at Duke and being at the bowl game, and then compare that to, how far you've come and where you are now.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. It's only been 12 months. Really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And when you're just in this era of college football, when you're a year one head coach, those first 6 weeks are mighty chaotic, and just proud of the nucleus of the team that stayed. It was great to watch that team get a bowl win a year ago in Birmingham, and then we were able to get back to work in the new year and build it from there. So learned a lot about what makes Duke special. Learned a lot about what makes these young men that we get to coach every day special. And again, looking forward to the next 12 months going forward.
Ranjan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Could you just talk a little bit more about, the chance for your program to not only, get that 10-win season for the first time in a decade and 3 straight bowl wins, especially as you're, selling your program to recruits and people in the transfer portal, just how big this game is for program building at Duke?
Yeah, it's kind of what I mentioned. When you win a bunch of games, you earn the right to play in big time games. And this is a big time game against a big time opponent, and that's what you want. You want to get tested by the best, and there's a lot of metrics where this team is one of the top teams in the country. So it's the appropriate step of where we need to be for our program and how we want to challenge ourselves.
Connor, go ahead.
Manny, if I could squeeze in a only quasi Duke related question. Have you been in touch with Rhett at all over the last 48 hours? And how proud of him are you in getting into the CFP in his first year in the ACC?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal job. Rhett's done an amazing job. Well, deserving of ACC Coach of the Year. And when you go in that environment in Charlotte against a team like Clemson, who's accustomed to playing there, and early on you can wobble, which they did, but their ability to storm back and put together those drives there at the end was impressive. Rhett last year versus James Franklin, got a ton of respect for both those guys. Obviously worked with the two of them over the last 4 years. So it's one of those you're going to be sad to see somebody lose, but excited to see somebody go. And I just think everyone's going to be really seeing a home playoff game is going to be a sight to see. And certainly Happy Valley in mid-December is that's going to be some, I don't know what they call that football weather. There's going to be some sort of weather. So be a great matchup. And again, I think this is what we're all excited about in this new era of college football.
How much did over the last day or so about whether the ACC should get both of them in or whether Alabama should be in or that kind of thing? And how much pride do you have that the ACC was?
Yeah, I think it was a good outcome. I believe that part of what we're trying to do is we're trying to reward. I look at like our football team this year. Of all the things we're able to accomplish, a consistency of performance is probably what I'm most proud of. Didn't always play our best, but it felt like we were the same team week in, week out. Now there's going to be random things that are going to occur in a game that might make you win a one-score game or lose a one-score game. But that's I think that's what was rewarded, is that the ability to be consistent, stay the course, and to continue a level of high play, over the course of 3 months, which is not easy to do.
Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, we haven't talked to you since Willie Simmons departed your staff to go back to FIU. So what your thoughts are on that move for him, and what your plan is going forward? How quickly do you want to fill that?
Yeah, excited for Willie. It's always bittersweet. Was just so thankful that to get to coach a year with Willie, and he made a great impact on our staff. And when you hire great people, one of the benefit, the side effects, knock-on effects of that is that they get great jobs, and so it's a great opportunity for him. I know he's excited. you know, we'll look to find a great replacement, and finding the right person will be more important than getting it done fast. So we'll start to look and speak to different types of people, but it's a very attractive job because I've already had some outstanding people reach out because a lot of people want to come work and believe in what we're doing here.
Anybody else for Coach? All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I will send out information later today on a joint press conference tomorrow with Coach Diaz and Coach Kiffin, and you will receive that Zoom link this afternoon.
Thank you all.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Manny. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.